Hey guys, and welcome back to the BSofSociety. So let's talk about fairies. Um, Fairies are unlocked after you complete 60 unique maps. This can include event maps and all that. That's gives a little bit more of an importance to events as well, so you don't have to go as far in the main story to be able to unlock fairies. Now, in order to get fairies, you either have to A, get them through events, or B, um, you have to use heavy equipment protection to be able to build them. Just like shotguns, they have a higher build cost, which gives them more of a chance to show up, and then they have a lower build cost, which gives them less of a chance to show up. Or I think it might just be more shotguns on the bigger build, and same thing like that. Um, so that's how you obtain them, right? Now, for leveling them up, it's pretty much the same way as you level up a normal T-Doll. Now, since I don't have a lot of experience with fairies, I mean, I just unlocked them myself. I basically looked up online for leveling them up and stuff, and basically from what I can tell is the amount of XP they get is basically determined based off the amount of XP T-Dolls get. So I don't know if it's like if all five of your T-Dolls get 500 XP, does the fairy get 2,500? Now I would think they do because um, it looks like the amount of XP a fairy needs is about triple for a normal T-Doll. There's these things called combat reports that you use on T-Dolls and fairies, and I believe you need about 1,000 or so for T-Dolls because you need about 3 million XP, and each contract or each combat report gives you about 3,000 XP. So if you do the math, basically you need about 1,000 of them. Fairies need about 3,000 of them. So I think that fairies basically get the full XP that T-Dolls get. Um, Now, when a fairy reaches certain levels, you can basically increase their star level. Every fairy starts off at a star level of 1, and they can be increased up to 5. Just like for dummy linking T-Dolls. Now, the level requirements are different from T-Dolls. I believe the first is like 20, and then it goes to 40 instead of 10 to 30, right? Um, Now, this works pretty much the same way as equipment. So basically, you had to take fairies and put them into that fairy to give them enhancement XP. If you take a duplicate fairy and put it into the same fairy, it basically increases them up a star level automatically, right? Kind of the same thing with dummy cores with T-Dolls. Now, I don't know if the amount that you need increases as you go up the star levels. Like, after the second dummy link, you start needing two more of the same T-Doll. And, the equivalent dummy links if you don't have the T-Dolls. So, like, for the last dummy link for 5 stars, you usually need 15 dummy cores per duplicate, basically, right? So it goes up to 45. I'm not sure fairies work the same way on that. There's also fairy calibration, which changes their talent skill, which is basically buffs for in battle. Um, I don't really, like I said, I don't really have much experience with that. I don't know if you can just calibrate them infinitely or if there's like a cap on it. But, there's that for another place to use your calibration tickets. Now we get on to the dumb part of fairies. So for combat, fairies interact with the dorm system, and there's a few facilities for fairies. I don't know what all of them do, but I do know one of them basically gives you command points, which is basically where these command points give you the ability to use your fairy's main skill. So there's one fairy in the game that basically allows you to take an echelon and essentially redeploy them anywhere on the map, right? Now, obviously, that's a very powerful ability. Now, the way I would have set this up is instead of having command points that are essentially shared throughout all of the maps in the game and having to force the player to wait for them to recharge, what I would have done is basically say you can only use a fairy command once per echelon, per deployment. So it would force you to retreat if you wanted to use the ability again. Now, that would obviously end up sacrificing your S rank and would make them, I would say that would be a little bit of an even balance instead of forcing us to have to upgrade our dorm to be able to get commands. And I think there's a couple facilities to like give you more faster, but essentially I think it starts off as like 6 per 6 hours or something. It's like a 6/6, something like that. And I feel like this is like the only dumb part of the fairy system. Now, every echelon can carry one fairy, and when you start off in the game, you'll notice a 6 slot in the formation that's basically blank. That's where the fairy goes. And basically they're used for, way later since you have to go through, 60 unique missions. But basically after you get your first set of teams of echelons done, I would suggest leveling them up. That's basically what I'm going to do along with regular equipment. So the last thing for Girls Frontline that I want to get into is the coalition capture, or SF capture as it's called in the game. I don't have this unlocked yet. You have to get through chapter 7 before you unlock this. And basically it's another gacha system. And this also has its own dorm system for the units and stuff. And essentially the way the gacha mechanic works is basically you have 3 units that pop up at a time. There's 3-star levels. There's 1-star, which is a 100% chance to capture. 2-star, which is a 50% chance to capture. And 3-star, which is 25% chance to capture. If you want to basically guarantee a capture, you have to use aid commissions. And I can't remember if there was something else that you had to use for it as well. But basically that's the gist of it. Now, the 3-star is basically the ringleader, basically like the main unit you're pulling for. And there's basically a pull of 100 units at a time, which includes them, right? So it's basically set up more like a normal gacha system, except you basically have, basically consider like, I don't know if there's like a 2% chance for them to show up. I don't know what the chance is for them to show up, but basically you have 3 chances for them to show up per attempt, right? And then you basically have yet another chance that you have to go through to capture them. The system sounds kind of like a pain. I'm running out of time here. I think I'm going to have to continue this in the next video. I'll recap everything I said about this system in the next video. And like I said, this will probably be the last thing I talk about. I do want to make one more video, if I don't have enough time in the next video, to basically discuss how I would fix a lot of the issues in Girls Frontline. And then afterwards, I think we'll move on to Arknights. Sorry I've been sitting here for like 10 parts explaining Girls Frontline. I guess I didn't realize I actually enjoyed the game this much. Anyways, talk to you guys later.